Spacey Sims, and we are back with more London Detective Mysteria in Jack's Route, and it's been a couple days since I played. God, it's been like 3 or 4 days since it's been a long time, so I don't know what happened. So anyway, you know better than I do because it's only been like 1 day for you. Well, 2 technically, but anyway, we're at where we're at. We're with Holmes and Holmes. We're with the Holmeses. The Holmes slices. I'll leave. I'm sorry. All right, you guys just skip through and go at your own pace. I'm leaving. I wish I had a door closing. I can't actually walk over and slam my door to make it sound like I left. Oh, God. All right. Anyway. Oh, we're at this Holmes. I was like, which fucking Holmes are we? The other one's at Sherlock. Okay. Forgot how to play games. Anyway. What horror. He's never murdered twice in the same night before. Nor has he gone to the effort of scrawling graffito all about the wall. Graffiti all about the wall. Graffito. Sounds Italian, but anyway. I can only assume he's gained an appetite for taunting the yard. Indeed, I don't doubt it. And yet questions remain. What possessed you to remove the graffito before a more thorough investigation? Well, preserving the crime scene is common sense. How do you expect me to cooperate with your men when they cannot adhere to the most elementary laws of our work? Need to breathe during that, Jesus. That will do, Father. You're behaving like a child. Perhaps so. Seems my frustrations have bubbled to the surface. I noticed, but the police have been useless for some time. I don't see why it would frustrate you now. Ow! Snap, bitch! Wow! Meow! The claws just came out of that cat. Christ. That they have, Junior. Yes, I'm more at fault for having higher expectations. Well, ahem! We can move on to the case, gentlemen. The victim before us. I was like, the victims? Because he said 2, but that's right. Murdered twice in one night, not 2 people here. Okay, I remember now. The victim before us is a 44-year-old Swedish prostitute. She's a long way from Sweden if she's... You're saying she's a Swedish immigrant. She's a prostitute, and she's Swedish. She's not a Swedish prostitute. Like, does that entail something different than an English prostitute? You get the Swedish massage and some Swedish meatballs, maybe? Oh, God. Okay, I'll leave. Oh, dear God. I'm not drinking, I swear. I probably should be. It'd be normal. She was very tall for a woman, as well as an exceptionally heavy drinker. Alcohol poisoning had long caused her to go mad. Well, she sounds like a grand old time. The Holmeses then went to inspect the crime scene as best they were able. Inspector, we've acquired a scrap of bloodied white cloth in a waterway along Dorset Street. We found trace evidence that the waterway was used to wash away a large quantity of blood, too. Well, there was a square-shaped bit of cloth removed from the victim's apron, as it so happens. Oh, God, someone did... Oh, no. Jack had our handkerchief, so it couldn't have been... I was like, oh, God, don't tell me someone stole the handkerchief, and that he had it, so... We're certainly in for a very long night. That we are, huh? But I'm sure the culprit cut this piece from the woman's apron. Now, if you don't mind me saying so, I have a theory he used his knife... Silence, Inspector. Oh, they both said it. Oh, sorry. Pardon me. Dawn began to ascend over the Whitley mansion, followed soon by a morning lacking in both a scrumptious breakfast and aromatic tea. The very first thing I was greeted with, quite understandably, and at the same time to my hungry stomach, lamentably, was police questioning. What? Jack Millers was here? Wasn't he taking leave? He is, currently. I was surprised to see him. Well, this is lovely. We're still no closer to confirming whether Jack Millers and Jack the Ripper are the same person. All we have confirmed is that police security is easily broken by a boy of 17. Holmes talks like a 40-year-old man. A boy of 17. Holmes, you're just... you know what, never mind. No, I get it. You're 50 in your heart. I get it. And you say you saw him, Watson? I did. I was worried about Spacey, so I came here to see how she was doing. I love you, Disney Princess Jellyfish Hair, but you're like the impy character who's like all over me and in love with me. But he does it better, okay? This is where the character that drag humps your leg is done right. Because, like, Watson is clearly in love with you and, like, every path. He's always, like, looking at you with the Bambi eyes. Always coming to check on you. Always super sweet. But you could be like, oh, he's just sweet because he cares. He's a decent friend. Okay, you could convince yourself that. But you know it's because he's in love with you. But he does it well. He's not like, oh, I love you. We're going to get married, aren't we? Oh. So, I appreciate Watson. He's the type of character that I normally don't find attractive. You're like, you're my buddy. I want to be pals with you. But I actually do like Watson. So, like, he's the normal trope that I'm like, yeah, I'm not into. But I love you, Disney Princess Jellyfish Hair. Minus the hair. The hair could do some fixing. But we'll forgive you because you have a fun nickname now. And you really are such a little cupcake and a little Disney princess attracting all the birds. Kind of love that. Just saying. I was thinking about this before, about the characters that are like, God, I'm in love with you. Oh, I just want to be with you. Okay, simmer the fuck down. Like, and he's that character, but like I said, done well. He's the, like, you can tell the underlying, you're like, he loves me. He fucking loves me. But he's not, like, latching onto me and, like, being, like, super needy and annoying about it. It's just underlying, and you could just so easily ignore it. Or you could just be like, oh, that's cute. Anyway. Like, no one else comes to check on us. He's, like, always checking on making sure. It's like, okay, no, I am a damsel in distress. Never mind, it's fine. You need to come check on me. I couldn't believe my eyes. There must have been 10 officers standing guard, but none saw him. Then we have counting 20 servants within, all on watch. How did he do it? It's fucking magic. A good question. That he duped the police is nothing, but to fool Pendleton, that is shocking. I know, right? Because Pendleton's the best. That's baseless slander. How can you imply that maids and a butler make for better guards than officers of the yard? Because Pendleton is best. So, what reason did Jack come here? How did he get inside? Oh, I let him in. I'll answer. Lady Whitley spotted him at her window. Upon confirming his identity, she opened it and allowed him inside. The look on his face is great. Holmes made his disapproval apparent upon responding. You're like, you know what? I don't need judgment from you. I got it from Pendleton. Put that look away. That was rather careless of you, wasn't it? But he's our friend. And they passed a short amount of time reminiscing. After which, he was adamant in his persuasions that she leave the mansion as soon as possible. He'd mentioned her life was in danger. Do I have the right of it, my lady? Fucking love Pendleton so much. Yes, everything so far is correct. This helps us paint a fine picture. But if we could hear Lady Whitley's perspective directly... I regret that she's become deeply traumatized by this incident. But did I miss a detail? He stole your handkerchief before leaving through the window, did he not? Nonsense! He didn't steal it. I lent it to him. Well, that makes little difference. Regardless, I made to shoot him, but I don't believe the bullet made contact. I do hope it didn't. I'd prefer he wasn't hurt. My one hope is that your aim has become less dependable by the year, but I still can't be too sure. Ahem! My lady. He's like, ahem! My shot will always be perfect. My lady. How rude of me. She's so sassy to Pendleton. You know, he's like, backhands her. I'm like, she didn't say anything. And they're like, this is, like, noble abuse. But I'm gonna let it slide, because we broke and, yeah, bye. I hadn't realized until hearing the story how unusually friendly you are with the culprit. Don't be silly. Worrying about a schoolmate is far from unusual. And my point was that I witnessed him as well. In her bedroom, no less. His delicate sensibilities. That's confirmation enough for me. Now I should like to go through the incident one more time. Holmes then fell silent to reflect before launching into a summary of the night's events. Around 1 a.m., Jack Millers bypassed the police and reached the outside of Miss Whitley's bedroom window on the first floor. No, what time did you leave, Pendleton? He showed up right after that. Shh, lies. How he managed to do so without detection remains unknown. What we do know is that upon seeing him, he was invited in by none other than Miss Whitley herself, who saw him as a friend. Their reunion lasted roughly below a half hour, and they discussed the matter of her being in danger as mentioned earlier. Pendleton, upon detecting something amiss, entered Miss Whitley's room and encountered her with Jack. He attempted to fire a bullet but failed to land his target, and Jack then escaped through the same window he entered, fleeing the scene entirely. You know there's a little bit of disdain right now that Holmes is feeling like, you failed to land the target when you tried to shoot him. Ugh. And Pendleton's like, I'll fucking kill you. During all of this, a woman was murdered in the East End's Whitechapel around 1 a.m. She was identified as Miss Elizabeth Stride. Whilst there were no apparent injuries to the abdominal region, her neck was slashed deeply from one side to the other, matching the Ripper's previous murders. What sets this night apart is the second murder, committed almost immediately after Miss Stride's. The second victim, killed approximately 30 minutes later at Aldgate, has been identified as Miss Catherine Eddowes. She too had her throat cut horizontally, with her chest also sliced open vertically and her organs removed. Again, very similar to the Ripper's previous murders. What gives me pause is that Jack Millers visited Miss Whitley's between 1 a.m. and 1:30 a.m., coinciding with the timing of the two murders. Therefore, not the suspect. In other words, our suspect has an ironclad alibi. Thank God. We have more than enough witnesses to conclude as much. Precisely. Even discounting those at the mansion, I saw myself. The summary had left the room stunned. Holmes, who was reputable for his skill in seeing any criminal activity through an objective lens, had spoken so eloquently to Jack's defense that he almost sounded the part of a lawyer. Yet there was no counter. I mean, also, I think it's funny that, like, Holmes is so eloquent and got Jack off the hook. And meanwhile, Watson only do is like, wait, but I saw him like 2 minutes before that murder, so he couldn't have done it. Oh, okay. Everyone's like, shut up, Watson, you know nothing. Holmes is like, well, blah, 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 let me repeat everything. He couldn't have done it. My God, Holmes, you're so eloquent, and thank God for you, we would have suspected him the whole time. Watson's like, I said the same thing. Yes, well, we noticed that as well, of course. Bullshit. Jack Millers does indeed have a strong alibi, which would render it impossible for him to commit last night's murders. My main concern is that these testimonies come from those close to him. I cannot easily accept them as facts, as you each have some reason to defend him, but be it intentional or instinctive. Pendleton's like, ahem. I have no reason. I want him away from my precious, precious Spacey. Are you mad? The man was happy to step into a woman's bedroom in the middle of the night. Why would I jump to his defense? You'd be more than happy to step into my bedroom if I asked you. Shut up, that's beside the point. We were schoolmates, yes, but he barely said a word to any of us. He was no friend of mine. That I can promise you. Watson. Interesting. The way you describe your relationship as poor? As poor as you can imagine. Watson heaved his shoulders in an indignant, exaggerated manner. Too exaggerated for my personal liking. I can't pretend to have been that friendly with him either. I was never fond of the way he glared at people. After Miss Whitley joined the class, I did find myself talking to him on every odd occasion, but that was all. We barely discussed much of anything before then. And you, Pendleton? I am the same. We've spoken very little, and I'm repulsed by his breaking into Lady Whitley's room. As the head of this family, it's my duty to protect her with my life. Why in God's name would I seek to defend such an indelicate hoodlum? Hoodlum? Oh, balderdash. Of course, completely understandable. My apologies for misunderstanding the situation, but this makes for valuable testimony. Inspector Lestrade offered a hand in solidarity, to which Pendleton was the first to accept. Any form of awkward accusations or offense taken was done away with. Now then, I must be going. Should anything else occur, do contact us straight away. Wow, can't speak today. Of course. In turn, I shall entrust the safety of this mansion to you and your guard. I bid you good luck in the race to catch Jack the Ripper. All were warned from last night's events, with some officers even rubbing at their eyes as they drifted back to their posts. Oh, what a farce this has been. Although we were sorely lacking in options to begin with. Thank you. Truly, thank you. What I said was the absolute truth, you know. When I see Jack next, I swear, I'm giving him a hell of a talking to. He should be ashamed of himself. Just what was he planning to do after sneaking into your room if he hadn't been caught? I don't understand. A man like that can only have ulterior motives. With that mug, he about screams depraved from the rooftops. Don't you see it, Spacey? Watson, stop asking inappropriate questions of a young woman, or you'll have exposed yourself as a lesser man. Holmes sighed heavily. You knew the inspector would dismiss your testimony if you didn't outright deny your relations with Jack. And that's why you said all those things. It's like, no, I really also don't like him, but that's half the truth. The other half was genuine, though. I don't know how to feel after seeing you defend him so earnestly. Look, see? Look at his innocent little Bambi eyes and his little blushy face. He's like, you're defending him, but I love you. You want to marry a murderer or something? Whatever. I just call birds and animals love me, and I'm just a fucking princess, but you want the murderer? Whatever. Fuck. Poor Watson! This is his ultimate rival. Watson continued with motions similar to when he was being questioned by the inspector, waving his hands and making crude facial expressions in accompaniment. Does that mean you weren't acting then? You're angry with him? Well, for all our differences, I did see him as a friend of sorts. And I do know he's involved in some sensitive affairs you can't discuss with us, but that doesn't turn his lying to the truth, does it? That story of his illness was a load of rubbish. I think it's normal to be angry. I suppose you're right. I was pleased by Watson's answer. His frankness was, as it has always been in the past, refreshing. I'd been so afraid. I don't know what I would have done had Jack been the Ripper all this time. Huh. Well, dismiss it freely. He's been proven innocent in this matter. And the threat in that letter never came to pass. Let us not rest on our laurels, however. Let us not rest our laurels, however. The culprit may have had a simple change in plans, or they wanted it to look like Jack the whole time because they knew he was supposed to come kill me. But he didn't. Ripper case is far from over, yes. We'll see more from him before long. But we can rightly celebrate Miss Whitley's safety. You being alive and well is what matters most. Thank you again, Holmes. Watson, I'm so happy you protected Jack. I don't know if I would put it that way. It's good of you to say as much, my lady. You were so adamant to come to his defense that your testimony surely holds no value. Yes, well, I could do with learning to better hide how I feel. I couldn't help but avert my gaze and look down at the ground. I was embarrassed by my actions, but that was not the whole of it. More than embarrassed, I was reminded anew how good those around me were to help me when I needed it most. And that should be enough for today. We'll call if we find anything new. Holmes and Watson made with quick goodbyes before turning to leave the mansion. Thank you again. I'm glad you were here. It was our pleasure. We'll always try to be there if you need anything. Have you not already thanked us plenty? But it will never be enough. Shall I do as Jack said and run? If I do, I won't see Holmes and Watson for a while. Nor would I be able to see Jack. I had been left alone to reflect within my birdcage once again. To be continued. The end. This chapter has no choices. If it's the fog chapter. Yep, no choices. But it's the second to last chapter before the end. We have one more chapter and then we get the end. Dawn had not yet awakened over London's East End. As such, its dismal streets were barren, save for a single boy who slinked through in a depressed manner. I couldn't follow the Colonel's orders. He bit down on his bottom lip. I gotta get back into his voice. It's hard, the first line. It was just us. I could have easily done it had I wished to. But I didn't wish it. I don't wish to kill her. Not following orders is a first, but it only takes one time for him to suspect I ain't worth the trouble, and she would be next. Damn it all! What can I do? Accents all over the place, whatever. There must be something. There's some way out of this I ain't thought of yet. Something other than killing her. Kill the Colonel? As the shadows around him slowly faded with the sun, Jack thought back to his brief time with Spacey. It made him recall that he still had her handkerchief, which he observed once more to grant him a moment of peace between panic. It was a beautiful piece of fabric, soft, elegant, like her. It reminded him of pleasant times, as well as the kindness she did not hesitate to show him. She's never run from me, even at my worst. And she saw me murder a man, and all she did was speak to me as she always did. Yeah, it's because we're a little crazy, but whatever. The Ripper runs through London streets and brings fear to the people, and yet she still stands her ground. She refuses to run or hide, and she protects her family name, family name, at any cost. Anyway, it's not often you meet someone with her resolve. I had to strengthen mine in turn. He sounds more Irish than anything. Is that what you're getting? That's whatever. Anyway, Jack began to move again. It didn't matter where. The smell of cheap alcohol and rotting meat would pervade unabashedly. They were not unexpected, but rather smells he was all too familiar with. East Enders had long given up the ability to retch at such horrors. Dry gin quelled the people's sorrows daily, whilst the rotting corpses of animals drenched the air with a humid warmth to blanket those sleeping without a roof. Ugh! The West End was heaven. Few believed hell could be worse, and so the East End was merely earth. Oh. This is like, well, look at that! Dare say I didn't expect to see you here. I don't know who this is. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't this that... Wait. No, this isn't Porlock. We're in Porlock. This is some other kid. He's in the beginning too, and I forgot his name anyway. A robed boy glided from seemingly nowhere before Jack. Of all the times. He knew this boy well, and it was known with a grimace he spared no effort to conceal. Oh my god, is he like Jack the Ripper? Like this fucking 10-year-old? Oh, that'd be brilliant. Could say the same to you. If you got work to do, then get the hell on with it, Bradley. My word, you got some poor manners. Very poor. Then again, you always was an unfriendly sort. Ever thought to be friendly with me? You're aggravating. So fucking hard. two characters with like accents. Oh, it's so hard. Anyway, so stay out of me way. I don't care to stand around and be civil with those in the same trade. Same trade. So he's a murderer. Look, he's got little fangs like a vampire. He's an evil little son of a bitch. He's gonna be that character that you're like, I hate this kid. Someone stab him, but you're gonna love him for that reason because you're like, oh, I really hope he's Jack the Ripper. I really do, because he's like fucking 10 and he's out there slicing and dicing people, and it's creepy as fuck. And there's something so disturbing about that I love it. Because you wouldn't normally see it coming. You'd be playing this. Who's this kid? And then you'd be like, oh, it was him. Oh, this should just be an innocent child. And me, I'm over here like, please be the Ripper. It'd be so great. I'm pretty fucked up. Wow. Anyway. That's so. But don't I recall you having many friends? Ain't that right? Is it 'cause you don't want no one nearby to see you fuck up? Whoo! Bradley! Shut up. I said I just don't care to be civil with you. Haha! But we got so much in common! Do you have anything in that skull? Leaking secrets to each other's forbidden. I ain't keen to be civil with you. And the organization ain't keen on the idea either. When we see each other, we get on as strangers and turn the other way. That's the rules. Certainly Jack did know this boy, and he would say whatever he could to keep him at a distance. The two had many years behind them. There was little from them for Jack to decide they were in any way close. There was little from them. Oh, for the years behind them, okay. For Jack to decide they were in any way. Okay, I got it. Almost forgot! Got a particular question? Bradley, whose manner of speaking was jovial at a constant relative to a drunkard playing an instrument off key, raised his pitch higher still to express his delight. Oh, good, then I'm glad I'm doing a higher pitch voice for him. You still ain't killed her? You still ain't killed her? No, I'm just... That hurt me. I'm sorry if it hurt you. Delight, yes, but there was no warmth to be found. Jack could not see where Bradley's eyes, coated in a glassy dew, were looking. You're useless, to be plain. Can't even clear up your own damn mess. I'll say it now, I will. I hate people like her. Lucky people born to a respectable family, always running around buying pretty things, and la-dee-da always have life go their way. And then, quite abruptly, Bradley's eyes shifted from unfocused to staring into Jack, and he laughed. Oh, this kid's like fucking Chucky. It was faint laughter on the outside, but to Jack it was pointed, naked in a way that unsettled him. Really makes me want to vomit! She come over to the East End too, didn't she? Oh, I can imagine the surprise! Those burning the eyes 'cause its stench is so horrendous, and the streets, probably enough to make her start bawling. Poor dear! Poor dear indeed! Sounds like you've been nosing around my business instead of doing your job. Heavens no! You're my terrible judge of character! In fact, if you need... a hand. Okay. If you need a hand with something, I'd be obliged to lend you one of mine. Perhaps, say, if you need a certain gal took care of? I'm having way too much fun with Bradley. Just like... It's painful and it's hard to do the accent, like, and read what he's saying, and like, but I'm just having too much fun. Jack grabbed Bradley fiercely by the collar. He lifted the petite boy, who, now robbed of movement, showed no hint of trepidation. Rather, he continued to enjoy himself. Uh-oh! What's this? That's it. Not another word. Come on now. You and me. We're one and the same, eh? See here. Don't you even think of meddling where you ain't supposed to meddle. You got your work, and you shall damn well leave me to mine, and I'll damn well leave you to yours. As I damn well leave yours, sorry. I got it! Christ! Bradley was quick to surrender. On the surface, at least. You step out of line, I will kill you. Not clear enough. Crystal! One was livid, the other content. Jack still had Bradley's collar, but Bradley's boots touched on the ground now, and so any physical discomfort his thin frame may have had was no longer. He joked. Treat me to something nice sometime, all right? Apart from booze, mind. The conversation was done. Jack let go, and Bradley adjusted himself briefly. With one last smile, playful, darling, and dark, he turned and skipped into an alley not yet brightened by morning. It was gone. Oh, this little son of a bitch is so evil, I love it. Ugh, he's a terrible disgrace. A few off-color oaths under his breath later, Jack hurried on. Just like his funny little 10-year-old's like, don't go fucking up, eh? The police have certainly taken their patrols here. Each new murder seems to bring in loads more. He evaded them well enough until he approached one amongst the East End's many dilapidated homes. So ordinary was its condition that no officer would have seen it worth his time to investigate, if he saw it at all, which was very much to the benefit of its seedy occupants. Jack entered through the back and was immediately greeted with a downward staircase, to the end upon which he found another locked door blocking him from going further underground. Would, rather, had he not already possessed the key. With regular movement that suggested he'd done this many times before, he unlocked the door, slid inside, and locked it again from behind. Down another staircase he went. Each step seemed to drop the temperature. The air became stiff with the cold. When Jack was met with a third door made from thick oak, he stopped and knocked. Colonel Moran, it's Jack. Is it? Very well then. Come inside. A dignified curtness befitting a military man welcomed him from the other side. Thank you. I was not expecting you, and I'm a busy man. So, what brings you here? I've disposed of Spacey Whitley, sir. Jack produced a bundle of hairs from his pocket. They were not false evidence. They did indeed belong to her, plucked without her knowledge. Jack had taken great care not to hurt her when they met. Oh, he's got the scissor fingers. The ruse would not take long for the colonel to discover, but any delay was better than none. I apologize for taking so long. I dearly hope so. Your slothfulness has made a mess of the situation, far more than it needed to be. We now have Sherlock Holmes, his son, and Scotland Yard sniffing about our grounds. All to investigate the Ripper case, of course. It was the last thing we needed. With every day the police continue to linger about here, our work risks being compromised. The name Jack the Ripper is meant for the most feared assassin in the organization, which is probably Bradley. That's what the best part is. I'm so hoping. The name should be yours, and yours alone. Except now the papers are stirring up trouble with this new Ripper. You're clever enough to know who's responsible for this. The signs all point to one nuisance who would relish the moment, use the confusion of your name for personal gain. Sir, you can't mean... Silence followed, but they behaved as if words were said. Their locked expressions were an unspoken ritual time and time again, more times than Jack could remember. The name Unspoken was always someone whose days were numbered by decree of the Colonel's will, and Jack was his weapon through which lives were claimed. Jack weaponized himself with routine banality, yet today this unnamed victim caused him to stir. Yes! Oh, that is fucking beautiful! That kid is such a fucking psycho! It's Bradley, yes. That boy truly is a mischief maker like no other. He treats murder as something one does to pass the time. Bodies are his dolls, the streets his nursery. If only he would content himself to do his work, but the cracks have become readily apparent. He desires death over disposal. I've seen it myself, sir. However, he has the professor's support. Professor Moriarty. Well, I mean, they all work for Spellbound and it's all tied, but anyway. Which leaves me little room for error. He fingers began to tap rhythmically atop his desk. The more vexed he was with the dilemma, the more violent these tappings became. I understand, sir. I believe I can find a proper excuse to dispose of him. Accidental? Oh, I could do that. What gives me pause is the proper excuse you've made to Oh, I could do that. What gives me pause is the proper excuse you've made to dispose of you first. Colonel Moran pointed a gun towards Jack. You for... Well, okay, see, I thought what he was saying in this line was what gives me pause is the proper excuse made to dispose of you first, but you've made to dispose of you first. Oh. The proper excuse I get what he's saying now. See, that threw me off because I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, I thought he meant, like, what gives me pause is the proper excuse I've made to dispose of you. What? But I tripped over the you've made to dispose of you. So it didn't come out nearly as dramatic as it was in my brain, because my brain, I was like, oh, he's going to kill him. I get what he's saying now. The proper excuse you've made, Jack, is not killing Spacey. I know you fucking didn't. Anyway, Colonel Moran pointed a gun towards Jack. The gesture was returned with Jack's own blades. Kill him, Jack! You still haven't killed Spacey, Widley. Nothing gets past you, does it? Bah! What's happened to you? You're a Ripper worthy of the name, but here you are, pitiful boy wearing only the same skin. Don't call me that! Oh, Jack the Ripper. What's happened, truly? Did you forget that I was the one who found you, starving and on the verge of death at the corner of a workhouse? That I was the one who raised you into the assassin who stands before me today? Well, he's not really an assassin because he failed in his assassination, so he gave that up, so whatever. Colonel, I know what I owe you, and I shan't forget. Since entering the organization, my life was guided per your orders. Answering to you was my own life, and I was prouder for it. Oh, Jack, this isn't something to be proud of, but okay. I murdered men who chanced to spread whispers behind our backs, men so blinded by greed that they were willing to betray you for an easy mint. I did it confident it was to maintain order, to protect your world. But if you kill her, it's my world that'll fall to pieces. Oh, that's so romantic and lovely. I love it. That girl will soon become a great beacon who will guide those suffering in London. Sure, I guess I have a lot to live up to now. Surely you've noticed. Her mother is... That's enough, Jack. All I'm hearing from this is that sending you to Harrington was a dreadful mistake on my part. You were to kill her by her own hands, and if not, she'll die by another's. She'll be no beacon. The Colonel was not a man to falter simply because the child before him was his. What must be done, and he kept his gun pointed to ensure his will was shown steady. But he's not really your kid, you just stole him off the street, so. But you did raise him, but I mean still. There are many assassins in this city with whom you've never been acquainted. I could very well leave your final moments to them. But we are on intimate terms, you and I. That sounds dirty. I'm the one who taught you how to kill. It would only be appropriate for me to escort you to hell's doorstep. Escort, that means you're going down with me. Now, consider yourself fortunate to be able to protect my world one last time. His gun fired. Sparks exploded in one swift flash, and the bad ending happened. What? The face which stared Jack down was not one of victory, but of confoundment. Confoundment. Wow, I can't read. Who did he hit? The colonel's eyes were stretched to their limits, and despite the haziness of the room, reflected in those wide eyes were Jack's claws, glistening, and at the same time darkened with new blood. Did he actually kill Colonel Moran? Damn! All we needed to do was get in the bed with Jack. We've been trying to kill this motherfucker like all the routes. Well, okay, not in Lupin's route. That was Moriarty, but still. Two men who thought they did well to stand guard in complete silence failed utterly. They were now props in an even stronger sense on the ground, writhing upon being afflicted with sharp pain that continued to spread in stronger waves. Blood, too, seeped from their bodies. Wait! Did he shoot me still? It would not seep for long, however, and the pain would subside. With a disquiet utterance, the two went from men to corpses. Wait. I don't know. The face which stared Jack down was not one of victory. The colonel's eyes were stretched to their limits, despite the Jack's claws glistening at the same time, darkened with new blood. Two men who thought they did well to stand guard in complete silence failed utterly. Is this trying to say that there were actually two other people in the room with us that we never, like two guards that Jack just killed? Because Jack isn't dead, but so I thought there was only I don't know what's happening here. Okay, anyway. There was only one left who stubbornly clung to suffering. Jack stepped ever closer, careful to avoid sheathing his blades into open flesh. Colonel, I owe my life to you. I'm thinking there must have been like two people standing guard, blah, 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 and then Jack took him out because otherwise they'd have killed him. You know what I mean? And I swear that your days spent creating me won't go to waste. Jack had not yet finished speaking when the colonel's vision tilted. The colonel did not see the movement as an outsider would in some fluid sequence. He was standing, a well individual, and now he was on the floor, his breathing slow and fragile. The biting cold of the ground may have caused a sharp stir in any other circumstance, but for the moment, even cold could not be felt. I knew, and this day would come, that you would turn your fangs on me. I just didn't think I would be the one to fall. Sorry. Among the many I raised to kill, only one stood more capable than you. Pity you could not overcome the weakness that girl ingrained in you. It won't be long before Bradley claims her. She'll be the finest feather in his cap as the People's Ripper. Each utterance was more strained and less audible than the last, but what he finished brought him contentment. Upon the name of a murderer, his head dropped. His eyes remained half-lidded. Jack closed them before standing. I can't believe he killed Colonel Moran! Damn! I only intend to use what you taught me one more time to kill Bradley. I'm going to settle the matter myself. Farewell, Colonel. You were the only one to ever scold me, discipline me. I won't forget. Jack, now the sole man breathing in that room, the floor more blood and bodies than places to maneuver, took his time cleaning his iron claws. Day passed into evening, and evening to night. They were soon radiant, more radiant than he had ever recalled seeing them. Bradley, your sense of smell is so decent that a drop of blood from an ordinary man is the same as a river for you. But it don't matter how capable a killer you are, because I will stop you. I swear I will. This chapter's awesome. Iron smell had settled in the air as dust to old furniture, and Jack could lounge no longer. Now quite satisfied with the cleanliness of his tools, he left the basement behind. If that double murder was Bradley's handiwork, then it's possible he is on his way to the mansion. I got to make it in time. What if I'm too late to save her? But Jack, have you met Pendleton? I mean, I know he didn't get a shot off to you, but that's because Spacey ripped his arm. but his aim would have been 100% true. So I'm just saying, I think Pendleton can take that little punk. Look, anyone else is going to be a fight and it's going to be a battle. Oh no, who's going to win? Pendleton would just be like, bam, dead. He'd be like, look, I'm Pendleton, bitch. I'm Pendleton, bitch! Keep calm and trust Pendleton. Always. Always Pendleton. I'd perhaps have to make him know her fear and horror. I don't fancy the thought, but he is right. We're the same. We take lives and as we continue to survive. But I shan't send him to hell. Oh, but I shall send him to hell. Even if I must go with him. Jack's resolve strengthened in the event the worst would come to pass. We closed the door leading to the outside behind him. This is going to be fun. I'm going to get to do Bradley and Jack again at the same time. Into the night he went. Much like when he entered at dawn, police officers roamed the streets with vigilance, turning every corner they spotted and inspecting every crate in hopes for clues. Damn! Look at all of them. Look at them all. Spacey's handkerchief provided Jack a certain degree of refreshment in the moment, so he kept it close to his person. Like many nights before, the fog swept through the East End, hanging thick, high, and low in equal parts. The fog is perfectly heavy now. I ask you, stay heavy for me. Keep me from the jest a bit longer is all I ask. I need to catch up with him before it lifts. Or so he hoped, but the hope lifted more swiftly than the fog as he caught sight of a silhouette on horseback. What's he doing here? New character? Whilst he could not see this fellow's face, his build, tall and slim, brought to mind someone he knew quite well. Someone he did not want to fight. Oh, it's Watson! Fucking Watson! Jack, I knew I'd find you here. Watson glared down from atop his steed. Would you kindly fill me in on precisely what you're doing here? He's like, I fucking live here, what the hell? I goddamn live here, you fucking idiot! Like, don't believe I'm obliged to, so I'll kindly not. Now, if it's all the same to you, I'm in a hurry. And if it pleases you to stand in my way, then I will move you. I knew this is what would come to, really. And you won't move me, not without a fight. You lied to us, Jack. Whatever happened to taking the remainder of the year off for illness? What possessed you to share secrets so dangerous that it would irreversibly shift the course of her life for the worse? Ahem. If the lies and secrets bother you, why not confront her about them directly? Are you mad? I never do such a thing. Do I look like the sort of man who would pry secrets from a young lady when she clearly would prefer not to discuss them? Huh. So you do possess some manner of tact. You best take a healthy look in the mirror before lecturing me on tact. Watson dismounted, the better to confront Jack, who was prepared for confrontation. Can you literally, this is the point, see, boys are fucking stupid, right? He's like, huh, we're gonna fight. He's like, you know what? I'm about to go back, because there's a little 10-year-old who's about to slash the fuck out of her. So I think we need to go. Can we fight later? Watson, I'm gonna jump up on the back of your fucking horse. Don't think I'm hitting on you. We need to go. I don't know what the fuck my accent just evolved into. It's easier when I'm reading the words. When I'm trying to make them up myself, I just slip in some of them. I'll see. Oh, ahem. This was Jack. Oh, I say you'll do just as you like to stop me, regardless of whether it's wise. Don't come crying to me when you get hurt. Okay, seriously, boys. There's a bigger fucking problem heading my way. If you could stop having a bitch fight. Save my ass. Huh. Give it your best shot. Shut it. Jack made the first swing upwards with his claws. Again, I don't understand. This is the perfect time to be like, look, Watson. We can fight another time. I had to go save Spacey from a fucking murdering 10-year-old. A little twat is gonna fucking slice her to bits. Just, that's all we need. Anyway. Jack made the first swing upwards with his claws. Anyway, we already read that. Watson was a reflexive man, for he evaded the attack by a hair's breadth. He cried out, a heightened tension in his tone. This is so like Watson's path. There's something I need to know. I need to hear it from you. You weren't the one responsible for last night's double murder, were you? I wasn't. And the boy who was is a great deal more terrifying than you've ever known. I mean, seriously, because he's fun. I love it. And as we dally your quarreling for no bloomin' reason than your bloomin' preference, that boy makes his way to Spacey. Once he sets his sights on a victim, he won't stop till they've been spoilt. Can this not wait? I need a caper from that monster. This is all I'm saying. This duel of sorts continued despite verbal objections, with Watson soon being backed against a nearby wall. Jack played a game of exposing weaknesses, targeting Watson's blind spots till he was left without means to escape. Jack predicted no less than victory with no mistakes. Upon his last strike, however, Watson managed to escape, grabbing hold of Jack's wrist. Gah! This hadn't happened before. Creases of panic were briefly set in his face. You're gonna protect her? And I'm meant to believe you. Stop. Watson's grip only grew tighter till he soon began to twist Jack's arm upwards. You certainly don't seem to have the strength you had during our last encounter. Are you that distracted? Oh, that's true. Wasn't it in the normal chapter? Whether it was Watson's path or not. Anyway. Damn it! This is a dead end too. A rapid pain struck Watson's leg, causing him to release his grip. He's gone? Where? Watson surveyed his surroundings, but there was only fog to keep him company, yet he retained his focus well. He's sure to show himself again at the Whitley mansion. He raced to his horse and mounted her again, snapping the reins to set a proper course. I won't let him get away next time. I will find out the truth. Thunder rumbled in the heavens. The clouds were dark, dancing to a blustering wind, swirling with a striking ferocity above the Whitley mansion. My lady, I need to leave straight away. But where will we hide? How are we going to leave the mansion without detection? Never fear. Your father prepared well for the possibility that something like this would happen. Did he? Indeed. He was a man of supreme justice, and thus he attracted a fair number of enemies to his name. And this led to the creation of an underground route in the event of an emergency, and leads from the mansion directly to the city's suburbs. I'd intended to make use of it to save her, but before she could flee... Mother? That is the first time I've heard of this. He's like, I was in love with her. Oh my god, Pendleton, are you my dad? Oh, that makes my feelings for you really creepy. Anyway. And why, that explains why we can't have a Pendleton route. Anyway, I'll speak of it in detail for you at another time. For the memory is not a pleasant one for me, nor is the situation as it stands now. I had rather hoped we would never be forced to make use of it. If you think about it, poor Pendleton was like, I was going to save her, but I couldn't. Oh, poor Pendleton. It's okay, sweetie. It's okay, Pets Pendleton. It's all right. Wait, where's my... It's okay, sweetie. It's okay, Pendleton. It's all right. Everything will be fine. We're the one comforting him. Come on, you'd pet Pendleton too. He's fucking glorious. I've tasked Alicia with gathering your things. In the meantime, we're to flee. Why not wait for a short while longer? No, because that... Oh, yeah, well, wait for a short while longer so Bradley can come and we can have a climactic battle. I've yet to tell Holmes and Watson where we'll be going. And no, you mustn't tell anyone. We don't know who means you harm. Pendleton, you can't be suggesting that Holmes and Watson do. I didn't read the Pendleton voice right there. I was merely illustrating a point. And no one in London is to know where you're going, and there'll be no exceptions. At least until Jack the Ripper is caught? Correct. I nodded. This was a day I could scarcely fathom. Me, flee the mansion? Even in the present, the thought provided an otherworldly sense. We've been reduced with so few alternatives that we shall have to do as you said, Jack. Perhaps I'll never see you again, nor our friends. It was the price I was to pay to keep the Whitley name alive. Well, but if you disappear and you never see anyone again, how is the Whitley name alive? Like, we ought to relieve the servants of their duties for a time as well. I agree. It pains me to turn them away now, but what other choice do we have? To leave them to their work wasn't possible. What if the Ripper were to use them? Hurt them? We'll pray to your health, my lady, as well as a swift return. Thank you, Alicia. As soon as the murders stop, I'll come straight home. I'll need each of you to take care. Please, stay safe for me. Certainly. And when you're home, we'll bake you some of those delicious custard tarts you love. Oh, wonderful. I can taste them already. Alicia was always so genuine and filled with warmth, as were her words. Everyone here was. This was my home. I loved it dearly, and now it was time to leave it behind. The more I thought of it, the more the loneliness swept through me. Everything will be all right. The Holmeses are on the case, and they certainly won't fail in solving it. Yes, absolutely. Shall we be off, Pendleton? Using a key already possessed, Pendleton opened a heavy door that led from the storehouse to further beneath ground. Wonder if that's the secret door that we were like, there's a door here, and we walked away and we had no idea what it was. I wondered, when did that key last serve its purpose? I mean, I don't know. You think anyone dusts in here? I don't want to go in here. And yet it mattered not. Upon the creak of the door opening, we stepped inside and began our escape. I mean, that's actually nice, having an escape room. Oh.
Humph! Serves you right, saucy Jack! Surprised you killed sweet Daddy Moran without sobbing your brains out! But now you got no place to call home, you only got yourself to blame.
Bradley lightly rapped upon the door before him.
Who is it?
Just me, Bradley.
I see. Come in.
I don't know Professor Moriarty's voice. I forgot the voice I gave him. Anyway, a heavy voice laced with an ill temper responded. The professor was commonly in such moods, so they meant little to Bradley. Also, Bradley's fucking psycho. The poor precious guy behind him, like, when Lupin was fighting him and doing all that, he's just like, I just stand here. I don't get involved. I just stand here. I think he might be fake. I don't think he's real. I think he's just a blow-up guy. He's like, he's my son. He's not real. He entered the room as instructed, and an equally foul gaze pierced him, that of Professor Moriarty, a man eternally confined to his wheelchair.
Hello, Professor Moriarty!
What do you want? Out with it! I'm a busy man.
That's not his voice. I don't know what to do for his voice. I forgot Professor Moriarty's voice, so whatever.
The Colonel's been murdered, sir.
So he has. I heard as much a moment ago.
Should have known as much, really. You do know who's responsible.
Jack, most likely. For certain, rather.
Well, so you do. Hate to find your example of a dirty dog taking a nibble at its master.
Taking a nibble at its master.
Stupid master, too, that Colonel Moran. Shan't think he was ever very good at doling out discipline.
Bradley let out a low, languorous chuckle.
You'd regard your superior so disrespectfully, Bradley?
I'm just going a little above and beyond with the voices now. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm having too much fun now.
Superior? That's a fine joke. Superior? He was older, but put me word, he wasn't worthy of no respect. Just a sorry fool to his sorrier end. When you needed a stone cold art, he would take emotion over reason. Simple as what he was, and I don't begrudge Jack for using that to kill him.
I don't know what's going on.
He took Jack in and raised him as his own. I doubt he left this world with regrets.
But he regrets going to the effort. Okay. But he regrets going to the effort of giving him a false name and sending him to school. Whilst I did me job proper, he honestly fought Jack's superior. A traitor. And he still ain't off the tot who sowed him killing neither.
This kid is so hard. He gets harder as you go. You're like, the accent's getting stronger as we go, and it's hard to read.
You proudly continue to spout ignorance, I see. Now who'll be the one to remedy this mess?
The professor pondered with such concentration that Bradley could have retired right then, and his churning mind would have been none the wiser. Bradley, however, took this as a moment to behave as a savior.
You don't get no reason to worry, Professor.
You don't got no reason to worry.
I reckon I'll do her in for you, and then I'll do an old saucy Jack too. I can fit in quite nicely for the Colonel and Jack both, so...
He was interrupted, quite alarmingly even for him, by the professor banging his fist at his table.
Be quiet, Bradley. Trying to think.
I'm sorry. Well, shut me jaw now.
Get out. Moran's death has left a great void in this organization. And you flatter yourself thinking that you and you alone could fill that void. I shall speak candidly. You could not. Now before you make me angrier, get out. Go and do your job. Drown in your drugs for all I care. Just work, you fool.
There's my voice. Professor, I'm so... Bradley's bravado was lost. Meek apologies fell short upon a glare wreathed in repugnance.
Out!
Yes, sir. Apologies would never be enough as it were. With a faint heart, Bradley exited the room, fumbling and stumbling gracelessly before the door. Nothing could calm them. He was now alone, but the dread of having committed wrong persisted. All he could do was stare at the door. Does he sincerely... I think it's supposed to be sincerely, but... Does he sincerely mourn the colonel's death? Ain't I better choice over that bungler? What's so good about him? Got all the love in the world for object lackeys. Obedient. It's supposed to be obedient. Obedient. Obedient.
Oh, dear God. It's so hard to read the accent. I trip over them like, what the fuck word is that? Okay.
Got all the love in the world for object lackeys he can use. Got none to spare for the rest. But he used to pay me mine and compliments. Said I was a clever one. Was it all a lie? No, he ain't a liar. I'll prove him right. I swear it. I'll do everything he needs in the colonel's place. Be the colonel's slice-up Jack and then be Jack. Whoever needs a ribbon, I should be round to do it.
This kid's a fucking psycho. I love it.
I'm the only killer the organization needs. I don't need others who might figure to laugh and try and kill me. He was confident he could be tasked with this. So sorely confident that it may perhaps be said the professor's discouragement only enlarged his ego twofold. From his boyhood perspective, this was a great part of his blossoming plan. Why am I so bloody frozen? I feel ill! A sense of restlessness came to him in a sudden fit to his hands, shakes and a burst of cold that besieged him skin and bone. As it grew in intensity, it struck him that the temperature surrounding him had not dropped. Damn it all! It's worn off already! Knew it weren't gonna last long. This elixir's just cheap shit for a swift eye. I need something that'll last me. Oh my God, he does take drugs. He's like 10! I'm gonna butcher Spacey Whitley, see her shriek from agony and make it last. Oh my God, his voice is hurting me now. Oh yes, I'll learn her and Jack the real meaning of fear. As no one was around to hear his thoughts, Bradley whispered his desires jovially to the accompanying nothingness. Oh. I'm going to leave it here because we're pretty much at time. And before we get too far, I'm going to stop here with Bradley being a psycho. Plus now my voice really hurts, so I need a break. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.